Good evening and welcome to Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. You know, obstacles come in all forms. Yes, all forms, such as murder, suicide, depression, bullying, generational curses, finances, lack of role models, hunger, and lack of education. These are only some of the roadblocks that deter young people. My platform is designed to assist high school age and young adult males as they follow my basic principles to overcome these obstacles and build their best lives. I believe it is better to train early rather than to fix later. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in here. Come on in here. June is almost over. I cannot believe it. Half of the year is almost gone. This month, my theme has been boys to men. We've been celebrating men. It's still not too late. If you have a man, it can be a husband, brother, son, friend, anyone that you would like to honor during this month on my platform. You just need to send me the information. If you have looked at my daily posts, you will see that we have celebrated several deserving men. So it is not too late. So come on in here as we get prepared for this epic topic today. Just come on in. You know, ships sometimes become lost at sea. They drift further and further out. They don't know where they are and which direction they need to head. They may send out an SOS for help, but help never comes. And life can feel that same way. In 2000, there was this blockbuster movie by the title The Perfect Storm. This movie was a depiction of an actual story from 1991 when a sword fishing boat, the Andrea Gale, returned to its home port in Gloucester, Massachusetts without having a good outing. Now, it was important that they catch fish. It was getting late in the fishing season, and the captain was very desperate for money, and he convinced the crew of the Andrea Gale to join him for just one more fishing expedition. They went out past their usual fishing territory and left a thunderstorm behind them. So they thought, hey, we're safe. They could see it, they could hear it, but it was behind them. So they still were not successful. So they headed further out into sea to Flemish Cap, which is an area of shallow waters in the North Atlantic Ocean, about 350 miles east of St. John's, Newfoundland. Here, the fishing was much better. However, their ice machine breaks, and they must keep their catch from spoiling. Remember, this is their livelihood. So in order to do that, they have to hurry back to shore. While going back to shore, they discover that a storm is brewing in the direction that they need to travel to return home. What do they do now? Do they wait out the storm, or do they risk the storm? They wade the storm, go through the storm, or wait out the storm, or go back with fish. Wait out the storm, or have fresh fish to sell. Storm or survival for another year. Well, they choose to try to go through the storm. Now, these are amateurs. They're not just out there on a joyride on a yacht or whatever. These are professional fishermen. So they figure that they can brave this storm out and it's going to be okay. However, they underestimated this storm. It got worse and worse. And the messages kept coming in from different ships warning them, you got to get out there. You got to get out of there. This is a massive storm. Well, then they lost radio contact. But another ship that wasn't far from them called in a mayday. A National Guard helicopter comes to their rescue. Finally, it's going to be okay. But guess what? the helicopter had a problem in mid-air when they were trying to refuel, and they had to be rescued. You know, when it rains, it just pours. So here's Andrea Gale. They're out in this storm. They don't want the fish to spoil, and this storm is getting worse. So they continue on, but then they run into various other problems. They lose some of the men. They just fall overboard. They then decide to turn around to avoid the damage by the storm any further. However, the vehicle encounters a rogue wave. Now, a rogue wave is sometimes called a freak wave, a monster wave, or a killer wave, extreme wave, and a normal wave. But it is large, humongous, and spontaneous ocean surface waves just like this go back and forth, and the wind is going, and it is awful. And even large ships are threatened, even ocean liners, when these storms get to brewing out in the ocean. Well, they kept going and they still had hope. But then there were only 2 men left out. The captain, of course, and one fellow mate. Now, the captain decided that he was going to, give the ship all the power that he could muster. He was just going to rev it all up and try to go over that wave. He just knew he could do it. So he prayed and got his faith up. He revved and revved and revved the engine up, and he took off. However, the ship did not make it over that wave. The crew member that was left with him was able to get out of the boat safely, but he didn't have a life jacket. The captain, of course, went down with his ship. Now, that story did not end very well. Lost at sea in a humongous storm, and you don't know how you're going to make it out of there. The storm got worse and worse. They figured they could get through it, and no matter what they did, they could not get through it. They sent out an SOS. The radio breaks. Someone else sends out a mayday in their behalf. And then the helicopter from the Coast Guard gets in trouble as well. It was just fate. But think about it. Out in the huge ocean alone. Have you ever felt lost? Like you had lost your way? You didn't know where you were going, what you were going to do? Have you ever felt like you just didn't know which way to go? No matter which way you turn, it seemed like trouble was there. You go to the right, you run into trouble. You turn around and go to your left, more trouble. All I can do is go through trouble. Trouble, 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 circling on every side. Have you ever had this to happen? Have you ever thought, I've been calling for help. There's no one to help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Have you ever been caught in that circumstance? It's not a good place to be in. Well, you can call on me for help. Remember, build your best life is my business. That's not a slogan. It's a commitment. I'm here to help you. And I'm going to tell you some things today to help you if you ever feel like you're in the midst of a storm and there's no help, no hope, no way to get out. Because there is. So if you're going through a storm and you want to come out and you want to come out even better, there's some things that you need to do. First, you cannot be complacent. You can't be complacent. Now, these people are out in the ship that I talked about. And remember, it was a real story. It really happened. And they were out in this huge ocean. But they didn't just sit there and just say, oh, the ocean's just going to swallow us up. We're going to give up. No, they kept trying. They kept trying. So you cannot be complacent. When things just seem like they can't get any worse, don't give up. Keep going. Don't swell up. Get an ego. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Yes, it does care. It does matter. You do care. So don't just, get complacent and give up. You've come as far as you have. You have talents. You have dreams, goals. There are things that you want to do in life. You've been working on those. So why, throw in the towel and just give everything up? There's no reason to do that. So you have to keep going. Keep going. Just remember that. You don't want to give up. When you give up, you really fail because you're not trying. And if you don't try, there is no way that you can come out of the storm because you've given up. So first and foremost, remember, I'm not going to be complacent. I'm going to do what I can do. I'm going to continue working hard to get through this. Some lessons and some things that we go through, they're there to teach us a lesson, to show us something, give us an experience so that we can be better in the future, or so that we can leave a legacy that we can tell our children, this is what I went through, this is what I learned, so you don't have to go through what I went through. So just remember, even though it's bad right now, like, well, if you're a mom, if you've ever been a mom and went through childbirth, you know how that is. It's horrible pain, but when you get that baby in your arms, you forget all that pain. When you have horrible toothache, it hurts like the dickens. But when you get it out, the inflammation or infection or whatever goes away, it's better than it was before. So things work out. So just remember that. Secondly, you need to be dedicated and committed. Dedicated and committed. There is nothing promised to you. Nothing promised to you. Now the Lord provides those things that you need, but there's nothing promised to you. So you have to work for what you want. Remember, I've always said it's not just going to drop in your lap. It's not just, passing by, floating by, waiting for you to say, come here, come here, come here. I want wealth. I want this. I want that. Just fall down on me. It doesn't work like that. You have to have goals. You have to work toward those goals. So even though you're going through something, that doesn't mean that you have to stop being dedicated. You have to stop being committed to seeing it through. It's just like if you, I was in school and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Of course, I didn't think I was going to feel like, going to school, taking treatments and be able to keep up. So I got a medical withdrawal. Okay, but completing school was still something that I wanted to do. So I didn't give up. I was still committed and dedicated to doing it. So when I got better, guess what? I dusted myself off and I went back to school. And I earned my degree. So if it's something that is your passion, you really want it, you really care about it, and if life's got you down, that should be something that you have a passion about. You should not want to be down. You should not want life to get the best of you. You should always want to be the best that you can be. Do what you wrote it down, hopefully somewhere. This is what I want out of life. These are my short-term goals. These are my long-term goals. This is my bucket list. I want to see it done and get it done. So keep that passion and that drive and continue to go after those things that you want. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's, like if you decided one day, I said, well, this guy down the street got a car. It'll be my first car. It's $2,500. He said he won't take a penny less than $2,500. I have $2,000. Where am I going to get the other $500 from? What are you going to do? You're going to work. You're going to beg. You're going to do whatever you can to get that $500 because you really, really, really want that car. So whatever you have to do, you're going to keep at it. You're going to be dedicated. If it's raking a yard, and they tell you got to be there at 6 a.m. every Saturday morning for the next month to rake their yard, and they're going to pay you $100, where are you going to be at Saturday morning at 6 o'clock? Not in your bed. You're going to be at that person's house ready to rake that yard, ready to mow that yard, ready to wash those cars, ready to do whatever it is that you need to do to earn that $500 so you can buy that car. That's the type of passion that you need to have behind any goal or dream that you have. Because as long as you have passion, you're going to be motivated and you're going to want to see it done. So just remember that. So what's the first thing you're going to do? I don't see any comments in here. But the first thing, you're not going to be complacent. You're not going to swell up and say you don't care. You're going to get motivated and get out there and get it done. And the second thing you're going to do is be dedicated and committed to getting your, whatever your dream is, to make sure that it gets through, despite the storm that you might be going through. The third, but certainly not the least important of these three things to help you as you go through a storm to come out and to come out even better. Along with that dedication and commitment, you have to make some sacrifices. You know, it's already bad. You're trying to get through, to make it out, and to be better. You have to make some sacrifices. Look at God. God wanted us to have someone to save us. He sent his only son down for us. He made that sacrifice for us. That was a huge sacrifice. Sometimes when a husband wants to take care of his family and he cannot find a job, no matter what he does, he cannot find a job, and he finally found one and it's out of in a different state, what is he going to do? Just say, oh, well, my family just have to do it out. No, he's going to make that sacrifice to take that job until he can get another one to make sure his family has what they need. So he's going to sacrifice some of that time with them in order to ensure that they have a place to live, food to eat, clothing, education. He's going to make those sacrifices. So sometimes you have to sacrifice. I know that doesn't sound good, but yes, you have to sacrifice. And remember, it's going to be worth it. Weeping doesn't last always. So no matter what you're going through, you can come through it. And you can come through it better. But there are those things that you have to do. So whatever sacrifices you have to make, you make them. So if you're trying to complete your college education and funds have run out, you don't know what you're going to do, but you want to finish, you know, this is just not fair. I'm just going to school, making great grades. I want to finish. There's no more money for me to go. What am I going to do? You're not going to be complacent. You're going to be dedicated and committed. You're going to find your part-time job. Even if you have to finish school on a part-time basis, you can do it. Or you may be able to find a part-time job and continue school full-time. You don't have to take, 3 classes a 8-week semester in order to be full-time. So, you know, keep going. But that's a sacrifice that you would have to make. Because that passion, if you have a passion to complete school and get through, you don't mind. You don't mind going through that storm. You don't mind being dedicated and committed because it's something that you want to do. You want to get it done. And so you're going to do those things. So just take all this in stride and remember that day those fishermen were out in that huge storm. Because why? They were out there not for fun. They were out there because that was how they made their living. And the storm, they had a storm behind them and a storm in front of them. They had the big catch, but they needed to get back to the shore in order to have the fish, to be able to sell the fish, to make money for their families. So they had some decisions to make, and they did the best that they could do. So they, whichever way they could go, they kept going. They didn't give up. Unfortunately, they did not survive, but they didn't give up. They were dedicated and committed to try to get back with that fish to have the money to take care of their families. And the sacrifice that they were willing to make was if they had to lose their lives, but they were going to try to get back to shore. So you have to do those same things too. As you are in life and you go through those storms, don't feel like you're by yourself, that you have no one that you can send an SOS out to. There is someone assigned to help you. Send out the SOS. Ask for some help. Get that help. Find out where you're stuck. And remember those 3 things that I've told you that you have to do. Don't be complacent. Don't swell up and say you don't care. Be dedicated and committed. Get motivated and get going. And then there will be some sacrifices, but don't worry about it. Do those things. And while you may be adrift right now, floating on a lonely ocean, it seems by yourself, you're not really by yourself. You're being watched over. You will be saved. You will come through, and you will come through better. So please take that advice and work as hard as you can, and never, never, never give up. We always go through things in life, and we go through them for a reason. Sometimes it could be sickness. Sometimes it could be financial. Sometimes it could be something with school. But through all of that, you just sit down and assess it. And like, okay, why am I going through this? What is the lesson in this? And so don't go through it just for nothing. Get the lesson out of it so that you have that experience that you can share down your lineage. It's a legacy that you can leave for your family, that they don't have to go through the same things maybe that you have to go through and the struggles that you did. They may have to go through those things, but you can tell them how to go through it with not so much pain. So just remember those things when you're out alone, feel like you're on an ocean all alone, adrift, that there is hope. You can be saved. Don't forget. And as you go along, remember, it's very important to always be your best and try to build your best life. That is relevant and very important. You got to build your best life. So please visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. I want you to like, comment, and share this video. If there's someone that you think, hey, I think this would be very helpful for someone, please share it. If you only tuned in, if you tuned in late and missed the most of it, you might have missed the best part. Watch it again. Share it with someone. Have a watch party. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. And visit my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. You can view my weekly blog. You can find out more about my website. You can look at my calendar of events to see what events are coming up. You can also visit my web store to see the services that I offer. I do consulting, coaching, speaking, webinar speaking. Also on my in my web store is my book. You can get an autographed copy of Build Your Best Life. This is a great reading material that you can get. It is for everybody. It's for young people, parents, pastors, teachers, mentors, anyone that wants to be better or assist someone in being better. Now is a great time You get an autographed copy as a gift for graduation for someone. And I know everybody didn't get father a gift. They forgot, and you're slow. So it's not too late to get that Father's Day gift. So hit me up on the website, get an autographed copy. I get it out to you quickly. Even if you're in the Bahamas, we have books already in the Bahamas, and we can get it to you quickly. If you like ebooks, Amazon.com and get your ebook. But thank you so much, and it is a great resource. And it is important that you read, not only Build Your Best Life, but those books that will help you to be better. You cannot read enough. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. as Anastasia Smith and I have real talk. We're going to have real talk. So you need to check us out at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday morning, 9:30. Remember, as you travel on your road to being a better you, there will be distractions, rough terrain, pitfalls, and detours. Don't let any of these negative aspects of your journey stop you. Though they may slow you down, keep going to be a better you so that you can build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's my commitment. Thank you. Be blessed. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Be safe out there, and I will see you Saturday morning. Bye-bye.